What if someone predicted the future, and we only realized it after it was too late? Imagine a quiet village, surrounded by mountains, where time seems to move slower. A place where nothing extraordinary is supposed to happen. And yet, from that place emerged one of the most mysterious figures of the 20th century. A blind woman who claimed she could see what others couldn't, not with her eyes, but with something else. Her name was Baba Vanga. And according to thousands of people, she didn't just make predictions, she described events that would later shock the entire world. Some say she predicted disasters, global conflicts, and major historical events long before they happened. Others believe her story has been exaggerated over time. But here's the unsettling part. The more you look into her life, the harder it becomes to completely dismiss it. Welcome to Crazy World Facts, where we explore the most disturbing mysteries, unexplained phenomena, and questions that challenge everything we think we know. Today, we're diving deep into the story of Baba Vanga and the predictions that many believe are still unfolding right now. To understand her story, we need to go back to the beginning. Early 1900s, in a small village in what is now Bulgaria. Life was simple, and for a young girl named Vangelia Pandeva Dimitrova, everything seemed normal. Until one day, something changed forever. A violent storm swept across the land. Strong winds, dark skies, and chaos everywhere. According to reports, the young girl was caught in the storm and thrown violently to the ground. When she was found, her eyes were severely injured, covered in dirt and debris. In the following days, her vision slowly faded until she became completely blind. For most people, this would have been the end of a normal life. But for her, it was the beginning of something strange. Because after losing her sight, she began describing things that hadn't happened yet. At first, her family didn't believe her. It sounded impossible. But then people around her started noticing something unusual. She would describe events before they occurred. She would speak about situations with details she had no way of knowing. And slowly, word began to spread. People started traveling from different regions just to see her. Farmers, soldiers, politicians, even high-ranking officials, all asking the same question: what will happen next? And that's where her legend truly began. Over the years, Baba Vanga became known as a mystic, a seer, someone who could access information beyond normal human perception. But here's where things become complicated. Most of her predictions were never officially recorded in real time. They were shared through testimonies, interviews, and secondhand accounts. Which means we have to ask a critical question. Are we looking at real predictions? Or stories shaped after events happen? Let's look at one of the most famous examples, the attacks of September 11, 2001. According to some sources, Baba Vanga spoke about steel birds attacking American soil, a phrase that, years later, many connected to the planes that struck the Twin Towers. But here's the problem. That phrase is vague. It can be interpreted in many ways. And yet, once the event happened, people began connecting the dots. This is something the human brain naturally does. It searches for patterns, even when those patterns might not have been intentional. Now let's move to another prediction, the Chernobyl disaster, one of the worst nuclear accidents in history. Some claim that Baba Vanga warned about a catastrophic event involving radiation and energy. Again, the connection was made after the event occurred. But there's something interesting here. Even if her words were vague, they seem to align with real-world events in a way that feels uncomfortable, and that's what keeps the mystery alive. Now let's move to something even more unsettling, her predictions about the future. She reportedly spoke about increasing natural disasters, a planet becoming more unstable, extreme weather events happening more frequently, floods, droughts, storms. Now think about the world today. Climate change, unpredictable weather, rising global temperatures. Are we just connecting ideas, or is there something more? She also mentioned rising tensions between nations, conflicts that could escalate, a world becoming more divided. Again, this is something we can observe today. But here's the key question. Are these real predictions or general observations that could apply to many different futures? Because this is where things shift from mystery to psychology. Humans don't like uncertainty. We want to know what's coming next. We want to believe that someone has the answers, that someone has already seen the future, because it gives us a sense of control. But there's another angle to consider. What if time itself isn't as simple as we think? Some theories in physics suggest that time may not be strictly linear, that past, present, and future could exist simultaneously in some form. If that were true, then in theory, information from the future might be accessible, not in a magical way, but in a way we don't yet understand. Now this is highly speculative, but it opens the door to a fascinating possibility. What if Baba Vanga wasn't predicting the future, but perceiving fragments of it? Not consciously, not clearly, but enough to describe certain patterns. Or maybe the explanation is much simpler. Maybe her story grew over time. Maybe people added details, connected events, reinterpreted her words, and turned her into something larger than life. But even with all the doubts, the mystery remains. Because decades after her death, people are still talking about her, still analyzing her predictions, still trying to understand whether she was real or just a reflection of our need to believe. So let me ask you something. If someone told you they could see your future, would you want to know? Or would you be afraid of what they might say? Because sometimes the most unsettling mysteries aren't about what is true, but about what we're willing to believe. And maybe that's the real reason Baba Vanga's story never disappears. If you're fascinated by unexplained mysteries, strange phenomena, and the unknown forces shaping our world, subscribe to Crazy World Facts. Because the deeper we look into reality,